All right, so here is another Muddy Waters inspired kind of lick. And you've probably heard this sort of thing before. Let me play a little bit for you. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm doing two little guitar licks, and then I'm adding chords underneath that. My two licks every time are like this. I'm sliding from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret of the 3rd string with my middle finger, and then I'm going to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string with my index finger. And again, if you watch my picking hand, I'm using a lot of alternate picking, and we're going to get into that in a little bit because the next part is, of course, soloing. So, and then I go back to the 4th fret, and then I head back down with the slide. So I'm sliding up, playing this 3, plucking this 4, and sliding back to the 2. Okay, then I'm going to do a pull-off. And a pull-off is when you pluck the note, and you give it a little flick with your finger, and again, we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. And then I'm going to go to the 4th string 2nd fret, and I'm going to pluck 2, 0, 2. So I have, see that? Now, could I do a pull-off right there? I sure could. I'm going to pick those for now, though. Now, your chord progression, you're going to go E, G, A, E. And it's entirely up to you if you want to play them as more power chord, or if you want to play them as full opens. You know, it's entirely up to you. So I've got, okay, then my next lick, all I'm doing is I'm sliding from the 4 to the 2 again, but I'm doing 2 pull-offs. So I'm going to slide back, do a pull-off, pluck the 2 again, and do another pull-off. And then I'm going to that again. Okay, so if I put the 2 together, you've got, okay, now I'm going to do the same thing, but instead of going E, G, A, I'm going to go A, C, D. But instead of going to the 2nd fret of the 4th string, I'm just going to stay on the 3rd string here. My last note, and then I play A, C, D, A, and then do the exact same lick again. So I'm still following the 12-bar sequential idea, but instead of just playing an E and an A, I've got all kinds of things going on here. So let me play the beginning part here with those 2 licks so you can see how they work. G, A, E. Now I'm going to do this, but I stay there for the A. A, C, D, A. Now I'm going to do the lick again, but the last note I'm actually going to slide up to the 4th fret, back again, to accommodate the B chord that's coming up, the 5 chord. There's really no great way of playing that in terms of open chords, so I really have to play 2, 5, 7. Okay? So you'll notice the only thing that's changing about my 2 little single note licks is the first part of it. The last note is just accommodating the chord that's being played. So when I go, that note right there is an E, which is my next chord. E again. Then I go, but I stay there, that's an A, because I'm going to start on A. A, C, D, A, and then, now I can go back to E because I'm going back to this riff again. Now the B's coming up, so I'm sliding up to that note, which is a B, and then, okay? So more like an 8-bar blues, really. So I have... Okay, so kind of a cool lick there too. So there's some ideas of how we can use blues in a non-traditional blues format, okay? So we've been learning all about 12-bar blues, and then we talked a little bit about 8-bar and 16-bar, and here's some different little riffs that fit into the 8 or 12 or 16-bar mold, but they're a little bit different. It's not just playing that 12-bar. So kind of fun to kind of mess around there with there too. And the last thing I want to talk about before we get to our actual soloing is minor blues, okay? When we take a 12-bar blues sequence or an 8-bar or whatever it might be, we're going to use a 12-bar in this case, and then we'll be soloing over it after a little while here. I'm playing 3 minor chords. Instead of them being major or 7th or 9th or anything like that, the chord itself is going to be minor. So if I had, for instance, and I'll play in the key of A again, I have A minor, D minor, and E minor. Okay? So this is kind of where the 2-3-6 thing comes in a little bit off of those first chords that we were learning. When we're not playing major and we're playing them all minor. Again, it's a theory thing, and we're not going to get real involved with that right now. But I just want you to think about how we're taking all these 3 chords and now we're playing them minor. Okay? So now if I was playing this as blues, I could use a shuffle or whatever, but I'm going to give you a little bit different kind of groove here. So I'm going to be doing a... Okay, so really fun to solo over the top of, and so I want to make sure that we've got all of these different styles ready to go. So as we start talking about these scales, we can move in, and again, I've got a ton of cool jam tracks for us to play over the top of. So let's go ahead, and without further ado, let's get started on our soloing.